Hello all, my name is Anand and I'm working in Visitech Solutions. I recently read a very interesting book on lean startup and found it very useful for the startup companies. While reading the book, I made many notes and I would like to share those notes with you all. In our company, we have developed over 10 products so far, and I wish I had gone through all these key learnings before even I started working on the first product. Nevertheless, I would be using these principles in future and I hope you would find them useful as well. There are total 10 key learnings, and let me go through them one by one. Learning number one, startups need to be managed differently from the established organizations. Key lesson here is do not work as if you're launching a space rocket for years and making it perfect. In reality, managing a startup is more like driving a jeep across unstable and bumpy road, where the founders must constantly change the direction and respond quickly to the unexpected obstacle and dead ends. Learning number two, initial focus should be to find a sustainable business model. One and only one goal for your startup is to find a sustainable business model, one that works today and can work in future as well. Third learning, which is I think the most important learning out of all these learnings, is use validated learnings to find a sustainable business model. For validated learnings, we need to come up with the hypothesis to find whether certain products will be successful in a given market, and if yes, how. First of all, let us start understanding what exactly is the hypothesis. To get a good idea, let us see a few examples. Once you decide to launch a product, we should test our belief, and some of such beliefs or hypotheses are uh, US consumers will be willing to purchase shoes online. First one. Second one could be Japanese people you would use authentic Indian soaps. Third one could be Facebook young users from California will buy a retro designed sunglasses in summer. So these are just examples of a few hypotheses. To quickly close the gap between what we believe and what we know, every founder should formulate and test two fundamental hypotheses. So first one is value hypothesis and second one is growth hypothesis. The value hypothesis assumes that a product will deliver its value to the customer. That is, the early adopters will find this product very useful. The growth hypothesis states that the product will not only appeal to the small group of early adopters but will also find the bigger market later. To understand this hypothesis, let us take a look at two examples to see by researching success stories of Facebook and Zappos. Facebook managed to validate both value and growth hypothesis at a very early stage when the social media network had only few users. First of all, the registered users were very active in the network. More than half of them logged at least once a day. Impressive proof for the value hypothesis. So it was very useful to the registered users. Now the second part was Facebook had sensational user activation rate, meaning it gained the market penetration very quickly. In colleges where Facebook had been introduced, 3/4 of all students signed up within 1 month without the company having to spend a penny on the marketing. So thus the growth hypothesis was also proven with Facebook in a very early stage. Now take an example of the success story of Zappos. It started with a simple hypothesis that people should be willing to buy shoes online. To test this idea, what company did was it took the photographs of the shoes from the shoe store and displayed the photographs in the fake web shop. When the people actually tried to buy shoes online, Zappos saw that there is a hypothesis. This hypothesis was also valid. Let us look at the learning 4. Develop a minimal viable product to test your idea in the market. Many founders spend too much of time working on a product in isolation without knowing whether there are actually any real customers for the product. If you want to create a sustainable business, you must find out as quickly as possible whether there is any demand for your product. The quickest way To get the real customer feedback on your idea is to create a minimal version of your product. This minimal viable product MVP should be as simple as possible and should contain only what is needed to give the customer realistic experience of how your product would work. This is just enough to draw useful feedback from them. Learning number 5. Build, measure, learn as fast as possible. Build, measure, learn BML should be the top priority of every startup. Every startup has to learn which product to build and how to earn money from that, and this should be a topmost priority for any startup. This can't happen if you are out of touch with the real world. You need to get out there, show your product to customers, gather their feedback, and learn from them. To facilitate this, set up also so-called BML loops. BML signifies the cycle of build, measure, and learn. First, you build your simple version of your product, like a prototype. Second, you take the product to its actual market and gather customer feedback. By collecting qualitative and quantitative data from this experiment, you measure the interest in your product. It's important to be very fast here. Each BML loop helps you improve your product and gives a valuable insight about what your customer wants. The more loops you can go through, the more iterations that you can go through, the more likely it is you will find your sustainable business model. Now let us look at the learning number 6. Use split tests to optimize your product. When developing and improving a product, startups have to distinguish between value and waste. They must find out which features are valuable for their customers and which aren't. Valuable features are those that help company attract more customers or increase revenue. Any change you wish to make to your product should be tested with this semi-scientific approach before actually implementing it. Now let us look at learning number 7. To find the right business model for company, you usually have to have a pivot. Many startups believe that to make a successful company successful, you must have perseverance and iron will. But thinking in this way may lead startups into so-called land of living dead. To avoid this, you should keep asking yourself how you need to change your product or improve it and make it find its market. A pivot can take many shapes, such as redefining the core values of your product, choosing to pursue a different customer segment, and changing your main sales channel. A main characteristics of pivot is that the core assumption behind the startup have changed and therefore a new hypothesis must be tested. Now let us look at learning number 8. Focus only on one engine of growth. A fundamental part of any business model is an engine of growth that ensures the company does not stagnate. There are 3 kinds of engine of growths: the sticky engine, the viral engine, and third one is a paid engine. Let us look into each engine one by one. The sticky engine. The sticky engine works by retaining existing customers who already generate a constant stream of revenue. The viral engine works by getting existing customers to take care of the company's marketing. So awareness of product spread among your target customers by word of mouth. Now finally, the third engine is a paid engine. This works by investing into marketing, for example through paid online advertising. In the initial days, every startup should initially focus only on the one engine of growth. Learning number 9 is do not focus on vanity metrics. Take a pause from your business and assess your key metrics and understand the performance of it to see how it is impacting the long-term goal of the metrics. For instance, it may be great to get a lot of media attention, Facebook fans, but never make these mistakes of interpreting these signs as a success. They don't pay your bills. And you shouldn't waste your energy trying to impact such meaningful metrics. Learning number 10. Define your key metrics. So the right core of metrics differ from startup to startup, but often they are the things like increase in number of paying customers, average session length per customer, number of recommendations gathered per 1,000 customers, etc. Each startup has to find its own right metrics to give it direction and a realistic view of progress. These are the 10 key learnings from the Lean Startup book by Eric Ries. I highly recommend you to read this book to get crux and even deeper insights of learnings I discussed earlier. Thank you for watching this video. This is my first video and I hope you enjoyed watching the video as much as I enjoyed preparing it. If you think this is useful, please subscribe to our channel and share with your friends whom you think this video will be useful. Thank you.